Well, we've all been waiting very patiently for this time of year. In my area, UK Zone 4, we've now passed our last frost date. So now we're in that position where we can start and plant out as more tender crops. What we'll be doing today is we'll be planting out our cucumbers. These are the ones that's most susceptible to cold. So you've got to wait until your nighttime temperatures are above 50 at least before you put these out, because they can't take the cold at all. Even this variety, which is called Market More, and it's an outdoor ridge cucumber, so we can get these sorted out today. And what we'll be doing with these cucumbers is putting them in containers for container garden. So we've got these nice solid homemade planters, and we've got lots of holes drilled in bottom. And as always, we're going to put a bit of rough compost in bottom, lumpier than what we'd normally use. It'll help with drainage, as well as save us a bit of money on quality stuff. So we'll get a bit of that in bottom to start with. And you can see that it's really lumpy stuff, this. And then we'll top it up with something that's a bit better quality. If you get any larger lumps in your compost, which you do, because it spends quite a lot of time in these bags compacted, or big stones, take them out, break up the lumps. This container is 2 foot wide, by the way, and it's about 13-inch across and deep. I'm just going to firm it down a little bit as well, because we're not just going to be putting 2 cucumbers in this container. I'm going to also put in other things that we can harvest before. I'll just tamp it down, and then using the same size pot, I'm going to make an hole at each side of what will be the back of this container. And then I'm going to put a little fish blood and bone in the bottoms of these holes, because I want the nutrition to get straight into the roots. And then we can take these plants out and have a look at the roots. There doesn't seem to be any trying to get through the bottom since we planted them on into a bigger container. But these leaves are all started to go yellow and die back. And they're the first leaves that came out when it germinated. You don't need those anymore, so you can just take those off. They've done their job now. And it makes your plant look a little bit neater as well. So we'll get this out and see what. So you can see a few roots, but they haven't even got to the bottom yet. So that's really good. They had plenty of time to still be growing in here if the weather had turned. So let's get it in this container. And I've just took a little bit off the bottom, so the roots are now at the bottom, and they're going to go straight into this fertiliser. But first I'll add a little bit of water into it. Now we can go straight in with this plant. And firm it in when you plant these. Firm it down nicely and keep it straight as well, because these cucumbers aren't just going to be left in here to grow over edge of the container. We'll be adding a piece of trellis to the back, and then we'll train them to grow right to the top, and if needs be down the other side, depending on how long they get through here. But we can't really do that in here because the greenhouse is not high enough. And now we can do the same with the second one. Just pinch off those dead leaves, and make sure you do pinch them off or cut them off. Don't tear them off, because if you tear the leaves off, then you're opening a wound on your stem, and then that could lead to problems. So I'll get this one out. And again, exactly the same. A few roots, but not yet at the bottom. So we'll take a portion of that bottom away. So now the roots are just at the bottom. And then we'll pop this one in. And again, firm it in, try and keep it straight. And while these are growing up this trellis, we won't be getting anything from them, obviously. They need to get to a certain height before they start flowering and they're mature enough to start growing cucumbers. So while we're waiting, we might as well use the space at the front and plant things in to get an earlier harvest. So I'm going to pop some of these oak leaf green lettuces in, because this is one of my favourite lettuces besides Little Gem. So these are really big, nice lettuces already, and you can see they've got plenty of roots on them. So as always, rough those roots up a little bit to allow them to start growing again. Just like that. It's perfect. And then we'll make an hole and we'll get some in. So what we'll do is we'll just go in that corner with one the other side, and then one in the centre as well. So we can have all these three to harvest over the next few weeks. So we'll go in, make a nice deep hole, and then we'll drop in as plug. Make sure you firm these down and also pinch them together at the bottom so the leaves stay upright. We don't want any of the leaves on the soil, else they're going to rot, and that's going to attract slugs, which will also attack your cucumber. So that's in there, it's nicely firmed down, and none of the leaves are touching the bottom. And again, loosen up those roots, and we'll get this one in too. Nice and firm, no leaves on the ground. And then we'll put one in centre as well, because we've just got 3 left, so. Save your packs. So that's your 3 lettuce in there, and they'll grow perfectly fine in this container. If you do happen to see any yellowing leaves at any point on the bottom of your plants as they're growing on, make sure you always take them off. Now I've got a couple of these small spinach plants, so we might as well pop a couple of those in as well, because all this is going to harvest way before these cucumber plants are ready. So these are only small plants at the moment, and the bottom leaves on them, some of them are a little yellow. We'll take those away. It's not going to hurt the plant at all. So same as the other ones, loosen up those roots. And I'm going to put one in between the cucumbers at the back. So nice deep hole, press that in, take off any yellow leaves. They're going to serve no purpose to this plant anymore. And we'll put a couple in between the lettuce at the front as well. See, plants like these are not going to put out a massive amount of roots and cause problems for your cucumbers. They're just going to grow on. Maybe in the next 2 weeks, with the weather changing like it has, we'll start harvesting leaves from all of these plants and keeping them nice and compact, still leaving plenty of room for the cucumber to grow, because that will only be growing upwards. And then when these plants are exhausted, we'll be just taking them away, and then all the rest of the container is free for the roots of cucumbers. And we'll pop that one in there. And now we'll just give that a little bit of watering. It won't need too much today because it keeps drizzling outside today. So that's going to help get these plants established quicker. So now we can get this taken outside and reattach that trellis and then pop it in the container garden. So this bit's pretty straightforward. We're just going to put in a couple of screws with these big washers on back, which will help strengthen it on back of here. And I've already drilled the holes in the trellis. So it's a case of just lining it up, screwing it on. So that's his container cucumber all set up. So let's go and get this put in container garden. So that's another nice addition. And this container garden is really starting to fill up now. Now that's another really good addition to that container garden, and it didn't take us long to sort that out. We just had to wait until the temperature was just right. So always bear in mind that depending on what part of the country you're in, or indeed what country you're in, never put cucumbers outside, and not until the soil temperature at night time is above 50 degrees. So now all we have to do is wait, and as the cucumbers are growing steadily up that trellis, we can harvest the salads below it. Anyway, thank you very much for watching that video, really do appreciate it. If you want to see how that container garden comes along over the next few months, just hit that subscribe button and press the notifications bell, and we'll see you on the next video. You all take care, thank you.